Stephanie,
Hi.
thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Good.
I'm glad to be here.
You look absolutely wonderful. Let me just
Thank
start
you.
with that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Stephanie Nunez from Main Street Realty. She is a real estate agent, a mother, works a full-time job, divorced, podcast host, and I thought that she would be good to come on the show just to give a lot of upliftment and motivation as we are changing the culture in real estate.
Yeah.
And just life in general from a Latina woman's perspective. And let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So
Okay.
first, tell me, how many children do you have?
I have two.
Two
Boy
children.
And a girl.
Okay, what are the ages?
My son is 12. My daughter's 6.
12 and 6.
6 years apart,
Okay.
yeah.
And then you work a full-time job as well.
I do.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I manage an engineering firm. It's a family business.
Okay, nice.
So I do that Monday through Friday,
Okay.
and then I do real estate on the side.
How is it, which I always hear different stories, how is it working for a family-owned business?
I mean, it's good. I love it. Thank
Okay.
God I have like it's my brother's business, so
Okay.
and we have a really good relationship.
Good.
So, I mean, I love it, but I don't think I would do another venture with a family member.
Okay.
Other than my brother.
Right, okay. So because of the relationship, it makes it easy.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
Okay,
yeah.
good. I
Yeah.
like to hear
we
that.
get along.
Okay, good. Now, how long have you been in real estate?
Let's see, a little less than a year.
Okay.
I think I'm coming up to a year in November.
Okay, good. And how are you enjoying it so far? Like, just tell me just overall perspective of what you've gone through within, let's just say, that year's time.
Let's see. So I do have like a few clients that I'm working with. Nothing major yet, but
Okay,
I'm
but you're
getting
getting there. Absolutely.
I'm
It's a
getting there.
process.
Yeah, it's definitely a process.
Yeah.
I haven't been discouraged. I try not to listen to anybody else's perspective.
Okay,
I'm
good.
like, let me just experience it on my own and
Right.
see how I feel.
Right.
So far so good. I mean, I've met like really cool people, so
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. So in this process, what is one thing that you've learned that you can focus on to get you to where you want to go as far as a goal? Outside listening to all the noise outside, because there's so many real estate gurus. Sometimes you're like, what the hell am I supposed to really do, right? But one thing, what have you found that works good for you that you can give to the people that could probably help someone as well?
For me, I mean, I like to get everyone's input a little bit.
Okay.
But kind of just like take what I resonate with and
Okay.
then go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So in the process of doing real estate, working full time, you also have a podcast.
Yes.
And that's, I love, ladies and gentlemen, I love this podcast. Now tell me the name of the podcast, please.
It's called Ex-Wife Chronicles.
And when I tell you that you need to sign up, and I'll make sure at the end, not at the end, but in this video, you have like the podcast link, the social media links, everything from A to Z. If you want a blueprint to how to survive divorce, this is the podcast to listen to. And that was something that was very intriguing. So we're going to get into that. So tell me a little bit about, if you don't mind, as much as you feel comfortable sharing,
Yeah.
about when you were married and then how long you've been divorced as well.
So I was married for 7 years.
Okay.
Been divorced officially for like 2. So
Gotcha.
single for 3, I guess you
Okay.
could say. But I'm sorry, what was the question again?
The question is, going through the divorce, or being married and going through the divorce, how have you bounced back? Because divorce can be pretty traumatizing.
Yeah.
And 7 years is a good length of time.
Yeah.
Hell, to get to 3 years of marriage or even a relationship is great. So going through that process and then bouncing back and then starting a podcast that you give. Look, let me tell you, fellas, if you want a blueprint to women, listen to this podcast.
Oh, thank
Women,
you.
if you want to get over a breakup and really not go out there and just be wilding, listen to this podcast. I'm telling you, it's a great podcast. I'm gonna keep saying
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, it is.
I appreciate
It is.
that.
Yeah. So tell us how you got through that, and then what made you start the podcast.
So right after me and my ex split up, I honestly thought I'd probably be in a relationship within like a year or something. I really
Okay.
didn't know how this whole thing worked.
Right.
It didn't happen. And then I kind of realized like I actually like being single. So, but I would still date here and there. I just kind of wanted to like see what the dating world was like.
I was going to ask you that, not to cut you off, but going from 7 years to just jump into dating, how did that go for you? Were you traumatized a little bit? Or you like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Wait, you want me to pay? Wait, hold the hell up. Like, what is going on here? So tell me about
yeah,
that.
Definitely. Yeah, that was definitely a weird transition.
Okay.
So that's kind of what started my podcast, because I'm like I noticed a lot of single women were like going through the same experiences
Right.
and like dealing with the same types of things. So that was my idea of the podcast, was to talk about like dating and like this crazy world of dating. And then it just kind of turned into like, okay, like it doesn't have to be this way. It could be different. It's just, you got to like raise your standards. But
absolutely,
you know, no one gives you a playbook.
Right. No, they don't. They don't. And then you try to go out to do the playbook, and then somehow or another we get played, or that person gets played. Like it's really some playing going out there.
Yeah.
So one thing you mentioned that you do mention in the podcast that I like as well, that you say it's not bad to have high standards.
No.
Meaning, I'm not saying that you have to be the Kanye West, you know, she's a gold digger song, but you can have certain boundaries, you can have certain standards, and you can have things that you require from a man that wants to be in your life, or at least wants to court you and get to know you and date you. So expand on that a little bit.
I mean, I think whatever your standards are, that's where you need to keep them. So, I mean, if you're okay with like the man not paying and you doing 50-50, then that's your thing. But if you're not, then don't accept someone that is. That's you know, that wants you to pay on dates or whatever. Because I feel like that's a big thing. Girls are always like, men don't want to pay for dates anymore. But it's like, well, you're dating men that don't want to pay for dates.
That is, and you know, I see that on social media a lot. And we're about to have just a real candid conversation right now. So that is crazy to me, just as a man, right? Because there's so many things that you can do for a woman on the first date. You don't have to go to, you have to take her to Maestro's or Beverly Hills or Mama Perdillo's. You can go to Applebee's, Fridays. You know, those are nice places that, I mean, it's not Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out, but it's a level of, I'm getting to meet you. You can have some good food, have a good conversation. And if it doesn't work, $60, $80 is not a big deal with the tip. If it does work, I'll see you on the next one. You know, and that works. So let me ask you, if a man says, hey, I want to take you out, Steph, I want to have coffee to meet you first, how do you feel about that? Or what is your level of a first date? Not, or first meet and greet, let's say that.
Meet and greet, I know, that's what I call a meet.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I've never been on a coffee date. I have had somebody ask me, they said, do you want to do coffee or dinner? I said dinner, but just because like I like to talk.
Okay.
So coffee date is like what, maybe 15, 30 minutes?
Right. It's like, I want to have a full-on conversation with you.
I want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I'm letting somebody take me out anywhere, like I'm already kind of feeling them or liking them. So yeah, I'm going to want to spend more time than a coffee date.
Okay.
So.
But you're not opposed to it?
I'm not opposed to it, but I've never
done a coffee date.
Yeah, I've never done a coffee date.
And that makes sense because.
But I know a lot of girls like it because they're like, I don't want to waste my time, which makes sense too.
Right.
So whatever floats your boat.
At what point in a relationship, even, well, you're married, so you were married, so that doesn't count, but at what point in a relationship do you feel like a woman should kind of splurge on a man? Is it in the dating process to let you know I'm serious? Is it we're official now as far as a couple? Your birthday, Father's Day? At what point do you feel like that's okay?
I think when you both decide that you guys are like exclusive and dating, and then if birthday is holidays or whatever. I mean, whatever you want to do. Like I personally do like to buy things for my significant other just because. Like, oh, I like this made me think about you. Here you go. Okay. But I haven't had a significant other in a while. So.
And it would have to be the exclusive point too.
Yeah, it would have to be exclusive.
And I think that's what people don't realize these days, that there's levels to dating.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just say, okay, you and I are going out, we've gone out 3 times, so now it's just like, no. Yeah, like, we have to have this conversation. Yeah. Like, if Jack wants to go out, I still may go out with Jack, or if Portia wants to go, I may still go with Portia, but you're my number one. Yeah. So how do you get through those different levels and layers of dating to get to the exclusive point?
Well, I mean, it's communication for sure, but I haven't gotten to that exclusive point.
Wow, okay. I get it. Have you gotten close?
I have gotten close.
Okay.
But not quite there yet.
Not to that point. So. Okay, gotcha.
But it's okay. Like, I just feel like those people weren't meant for me.
Right.
You know?
It makes a difference. And I think that one of the biggest things I find in dating is that honesty, right? Because it's so much in being transparent. Because I feel like things go south when... So I always call it the meeting the representative. I'm gonna put on my best face. I'm gonna put on my best personality because now I want you to see the representative. But the representative is nothing like the real person. Yeah. This goes for men and women. For sure. So when I'm talking to you or I'm talking to a person and vice versa, if I'm telling them everything they want to hear, of course. I'm like, yeah, we're good. Opposed to saying, but then my ultimate goal is I want money, I want intimacy, I want clout, I want any of these things. Instead of saying, look, I think that you're attractive. I want to take you out, but this is what I'm looking for. And when you're honest like that, it gives that person a chance to say, you know what? I can go with that. Yeah. Or no, I don't want that. But then when you lie, and that's your ultimate goal, that's how you get busted tires, busted windows. You get, blocked on Facebook, on social media.
Those are
things like
crazy
that.
people.
Yeah. But I'm saying it can turn someone like that. A lot of people are
Yeah,
emotional
that's
nowadays.
true.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
So,
That's
so
for
tell
sure.
me, what's some of the craziness you've encountered with men that you weren't expecting? Just a little bit. You don't have to go in depth. I know you mentioned, has anyone ever asked you to pay on the first date or when you've gone out?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No one has ever asked that. I don't know. Honestly, I've never like really dealt with crazy like issues or things. Like I think I usually like drop it before it gets there.
Oh, good. So you don't think the red flags are a carnival, or what they say the red flags are pink, or
yeah,
you
no.
see these memes about how women like the red flags.
No, heck no.
Okay,
no.
good.
So for me, red flags
Okay.
are just like you're accepting lower than your standards. So like one person's red flag may not be another person's red flag.
Got you.
So like I know a lot of women are weird about the whole like if he doesn't text me back like within 15 minutes, like that's a red flag. But to me, I'm just like, as long as I get like a text throughout the day, like I don't care, you're busy, I'm busy, do your thing, let me do my thing.
I did hear that in your podcast, right? You did say like, I may or may not text you back, may take an hour, may take 10 minutes. It's a variety here, so
yeah. So like that's not a red flag to me. So I guess it's just like your standards. So
okay.
Like I don't think I entertain red flags. I'm just like, if I want to, I'll deal with it for however long I want to deal with it, and then if it's like no longer serving me, I'm like, okay, you gotta go.
Got it. So aside of the dating, let's talk about the children and being a mother and doing everything else that you do. How do you handle and incorporate all of that? Because it's a lot for single moms.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of help, but I do have my kids like every other week. So the weeks that I don't have them, I am able to get a lot done.
Okay,
so
good.
I'm pretty much like a single woman.
Okay, so that helps out as well.
So that does help, yeah. But I mean, yeah, I have a babysitter that helps me a lot with my daughter, and my mom helps a lot too. So So yeah, I'm blessed with a lot of help.
Good. So that definitely does help as well. So with that being said, how do you? Because you have a girl and a boy.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that out with both of them? And because as they get older, they're going to be looking. Well, not only as they get older, in today's society, you can watch a cartoon and see some of the craziest stuff. So how do you manage that being a mom in this society as well?
It is a little crazy because I feel like my son's 12, and when I was 12, I definitely wasn't like
seeing all the stuff that he has access. He has to, yeah.
And he's like a little adult, so like I'm pretty open with him. I feel like I'm more open with my kids than my parents were with me, just because I want to have that relationship. I want to have that honesty. Like if you're ever in a situation, like I'll get you. You're not going to be in trouble. Right. I mean, you may be in trouble later, but
but for now you're okay.
For now you're good. Just make sure I get to you. So I mean, yeah, it can be a little difficult because I feel like they are exposed to a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that they're exposed to that we just probably don't even see.
Right.
But I think just honesty and being open and like loving and just giving them like love, and discipline and stuff.
Do you have good conversations with them?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay,
yeah.
good. So now,
like
have you, post-divorce, have you brought anyone around to meet them?
No.
Okay.
No.
And at what point would you think about doing something like that? Because I know that's very important. I mean, I know when I was dating and I would see people, no one would meet the children. And if you did, it would be a lot of time put into it before you met the children.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't gotten to a point where like I'm like, I'll introduce this guy to my kids. But I would say like once we're exclusive and like we want to start dating, then at that point,
gotcha.
However much time that takes, like I would say like 3 to 6 months, 3 months being the minimum, 6 months. I mean, even 6 months is like kind of a short time.
Right.
I'm like, I got to know you through all 4 seasons.
Yeah, no, seriously, because children are impactful.
Yeah.
And they are impacted, and that person. And not only that, children can tell you if you should date that person before you should even be going forward or not. Like, Mom, we're not really feeling him. Or, Mom, we do like him. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing as well. So tell me, going back to real estate, tell me what your goals are, even becoming in the business new. What are your goals? What would you like to do and accomplish moving forward between now and the end of December?
Well, I mean, I would like to build a bigger clientele for sure. I mean, other than that, I just want to like push through and keep going and make sure like I'm going to stick to this, which I think I will. There's no doubt about that. It's just getting to that point.
Getting the momentum going.
Yeah, getting the momentum going.
Got
for
you.
sure.
And what would you recommend to anyone that wants to get their license or who's new like you, to outside of the persistence, because that's where you are, which is really good. Anything else that you can give them, like work on your database, do door knocking, do cold calls, anything that you can give them?
I personally do love cold calling just because I used to be in collections, so like I love being on the phone.
Oh, really? Okay, we gotta watch out. So we need to do another segment on collections. This gives the inside scoop on that, right? We could use that.
Yeah, so I do love being on the phone. I've done door knocking. I love open houses.
Okay.
I love open houses. That's just my thing.
Right. Okay, good.
So, I mean, I've done a mix of everything.
Okay.
Just to push me somewhere.
Got you.
But everyone says open houses, and I mean, I think they're good. I love them. So.
Do you meet a lot of people at the open houses?
Yeah, like a lot of people that have given me advice are like, just do open houses to get buyers and stuff like that. So okay. I enjoy that.
Good. Well, we have to. I think now you have to expand the podcast and put some things about real estate. Like, hey, I'm giving you this advice. Anybody wants to buy, sell, or invest, let me know, right? Because the podcast, like I said, is really good as well. So working with your brother in engineering, how does that go as far as the engineering? And then my last guest, Manuel, he works with his family. But you know how when siblings have arguments, well, I used to change your diaper, well, I beat you up. How does that work at work with them? Or have you ever gotten into that kind of confrontation? Or is work separate than family?
Work is definitely separate than family. And the funny thing is, like, me and my brother didn't grow up with each other.
Oh, okay.
So I started working with him maybe like 5 years ago, doing the same thing but at another company, and then he decided to open his own. And we kind of just got closer as we started working together. Okay. So we don't really have any like stories of us growing up. Like there was no animosity, like nothing. Good. It's like a fresh start, and we're like, oh my God, we are exactly the same. Right.
Now, what's the age difference?
I think 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So ultimately, with all the goals, passion, and persistence that you have, would you like to be married again, or do you see yourself being, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
But I think I just want like companionship than anything, like just a good, healthy relationship. Okay, that's always a good start. Yeah. Yeah, it's like let me just get this part of it. We can deal with the other part later because I need to just have a peace of mind, especially in this society. Stuff is so crazy. Definitely. So I see that. So tell everybody again the name of the podcast so we can link that in. The name of the podcast is Ex-Wife Chronicles, so make sure you listen.
Yes. Now, what episode are you on with the Ex-Wife Chronicles?
I am on episode 20. I'm going to be posting episode 27. I have a lot of content to edit, so I'm going to be throwing a few in there.
Okay. Good. Then how long have you been doing it? I don't know if I asked you that.
A little bit over a year.
Okay.
I wasn't consistent, like probably the first year, to be honest. I was like posting here and there, and then we were like in the middle of COVID, so it's hard to even date. Right. And then the whole idea kind of just shifted with the podcast. So now it's more like giving women like pointers on how to be confident so you don't settle for dusties. That's what they call them now.
So you brought that up. So tell me, so let's expand on that a little bit. I actually like that. So what would be considered a dusty, right? Is that like the TLC song Scrub? I don't want no scrub? Yeah. Or, all right, so that would be a good
Pretty
reference.
Much.
And then what is a good confidence builder? Because one thing I realized with men and women, let me not say with men and women. Yeah, with men and women, but in particularly attractive women like yourself, right? Men who don't think confident of themselves, they always try to tear down that woman, whether it be verbally, physically, mentally, spiritually. What gave you the strength to make the moves that you did, and what would you give to women, the advice that you would tell them to be strong and to keep going?
I mean, you have to work on your I don't give an F mentality, so hard. Okay. To where like nothing around you is bothering you, like you're just positive, you're happy, you're graceful, like you're moving forward, all positive things are coming, like you just have to stay, like you have to stay there.
Gotcha.
That's really it. And it's hard,
it
but
is.
I hate saying it's hard, but I mean that's just the reality of it.
Sometimes it is.
But you can get there. Like it is possible.
Right.
So
how long did it take you to get there?
I mean, I feel like I was working on it like before I left my marriage. That's kind of what gave me like the courage
strength to go
leave.
ahead and go. Okay, good.
And then like you get into like little relationships here and there, and so you're just kind of like, okay, what am I doing? Like, I need to work on something else. So let me just work on myself, build up myself, and go from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And here's I just thought about that when you were saying that. I thought about a question I asked you before I let you go. What would you suggest to women that come out of a long-term relationship, right? Because I've talked to women who are friends of mine, whether I've dated them or not dated them, that have been in 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just met a girl who was in a 27-year marriage who got out of a divorce. We were just talking as friends, and she went into a relationship, and she said, Jen, that was the worst thing I could have done, went right into a relationship.
Yeah.
Because that not only traumatized me, but the person, and we broke up, and this whole process. So what kind of break should a man or woman, if they're in a marriage that long, relationship that long, what kind of break do you think that they need afterwards?
I mean, it just depends on like the way it ends, I feel like. So if you're in a traumatic relationship, I feel like you definitely should work on yourself, like whatever that is, get therapy, like do what you got to do to work on yourself before you entertain anybody else, because then it's really easy to bring in all of those old traumas into a new relationship.
Right, true.
But like I have a friend, me and one of my friends, we divorced at the same time, and she went right into a relationship and she was fine.
Oh, wow.
But she knew like exactly what she wanted, like all of that. Me, I was like a hot mess. I didn't know what the hell I wanted, what I wanted to do.
Right.
So, and she's still with her boyfriend. So I think it just depends on the person. Like, why did you leave? And like, did you leave because that person was like psycho and you had to get out, or did you leave because that's just not what you wanted? Like, that's not the life you wanted to create for yourself.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Good deal. Well, thank you so much. I thank you
you
for coming. Like, I wanted to give a perspective of all the different attributes that you do to the community that would help them. And I thank you for saying that you would just open up and give a piece of yourself to people to really uplift. And I hope that this did some good for you as well.
Yes, I loved it. So fun.
Thank you. And you became really comfortable, even though you were nervous in the beginning. I just saw you moving and rocking. I'm like, oh yeah, she's rolling. Everything is going good. So we'll make sure we put all the handles, social media, the podcast, just everything. If you want to use her to buy, sell, invest, we'll put her website, her phone number. Reach out to her. Yes, she's single, but reach out for business, not to ask her to go out. Please do not do that. That's on a different time and platform, not this one. And thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.